Exercise Tiger was one of a series of practice exercises for the Allied invasion of Europe. Tiger took place between the 22nd of April and the 30th of April 1944, with a practice assault on Slapton Sands on the Devon coast. While the beach wasn't a perfect match for the US forces would assault Utah and Omaha, the South Hampshire countryside, with its small fields, narrow lanes and tall hedgerows, was characteristic of the Normandy bocage landscape. Slapton Sands had been used for amphibious assault training before the war, and small-scale exercises took place in August of 1943. However, in order to prepare for D-Day, larger-scale exercises comprising landings by thousands of troops, hundreds of vehicles, mock German defences, pre-assault bombardment, aerial bombing, troop movements inland and the use of live ammunition were needed. In order to create a suitable training area, 25 square miles of land had to be evacuated. Compulsory evacuation orders were issued in November 1943, giving 6 weeks for the residents to evacuate the villages and farms. In addition, 6,000 cattle, 12,000 sheep, 10,000 tons of root crops and all farming machinery and implements were removed from the area. Between the last day of 1943 and the 6th of May 1944, a total of 12 exercises were carried out in the area. The 11th and 12th exercises, Tiger and Fabius I, were full dress rehearsals, landing on Utah and Omaha beaches. Exercise Tiger's purpose was to practice how to prepare for the beach assault, including 2 waves of beach landings, an advance inland, and the landing of further supplies on the beach. The first phase of the exercise lasted 4 days. It focused on marshalling troops from their camps and loading men and equipment onto landing crafts. On the evening of the 26th of April, the first wave of 30,000 assault troops boarded their transport ships, started their sea journey that simulated the time of the Channel crossing. They arrived off Slapton Sands at dawn on the 27th of April. The convoy was escorted by the Royal Navy, who provided 4 O-class destroyers, 3 motor torpedo boats and 2 motor gunboats. A further 3 motor torpedo boats patrolled off the coast of Cherbourg to intercept any German warships that might have ventured into the English Channel. Once the warships arrived off Slapton Sands, they formed a bombardment group, responsible for firing live shells over the landing craft as they began their assault on the beach. This was to accustom the assault troops to the sights, sounds, smells, and concussion of naval bombardment. The assault phase of the exercise began at 03:30 when airborne troops were deployed. As no aircraft were available, they were taken to their drop zone by truck. The seaborne landings did not get off to a good start. They were due to begin at 07:30, but part of the assault convoy was behind schedule. A decision was made to delay the assault by 60 minutes. However, communication problems meant that some landing craft were not made aware of the change and began landing the troops at the original time. Consequently, they became under fire from the naval bombardment that should have taken place 15 minutes before they landed. This resulted in several casualties. The situation was made worse as the troops on the beach were unable to communicate with the warships to call off the bombardment. Following the bombardment, troops of the 1st Engineer Special Brigade went ashore to sweep the minefields, open exits from the beach, lay track roads, repair Slapton Bridge, and establish supply dumps. Assault troops then moved inland to deal with enemy defences and link up with the airborne troops. The beach at Slapton Sands was successfully secured at 15:30 on the 27th of April. The following day, Exercise Tiger witnessed another tragedy. Convoy T4 of 8 transport ships escorted HMS Azalea, sailing from Plymouth to Brixham, was attacked in Lyme Bay by heavily armed German Navy fast attack boats, known to the Allies as E-boats. The convoy carried a second wave of the troops and equipment that was intended to reinforce the first assault. The convoy was spotted by 9 E-boats that sailed from Cherbourg. Soon after midnight, 6 attacked in pairs with torpedoes and gunfire. The remaining 3 joined the attack soon after. T4 was supposed to have been protected by 2 Royal Navy warships, but one had to leave the convoy due to damage received in a collision. This replacement didn't arrive in time to protect the transport ships. The poor communication between the remaining escort and the transports also contributed to the disaster. 2 landing ship tanks were sunk by torpedoes. A 3rd LST was set on fire and was unable to return to shore. 631 soldiers and sailors were killed aboard the 3 LSTs. A 4th was damaged by friendly fire from another LST that was attempting to fire on one of the E-boats. The E-boats eventually withdrew after coming under fire from the LSTs and HMS Azalea. Hundreds of US servicemen were killed during Exercise Tiger. Reports in April and August gave a total of 749 or 639 dead. 248 bodies were recovered and they were sent for burial at Brookwood American Cemetery in Surrey. Following the U-boat attack, there was significant Allied concerns that D-Day would be compromised. 10 American officers lost at sea. On the 28th of April, new details about the invasion. D-Day was nearly called off until all 10 and the papers they were carrying were found. Survivors of the disaster were sworn to secrecy. Despite the casualties, Exercise Tiger was considered a success as several lessons were learned. These lessons were applied to refine during Exercise Fabius 1, the last major exercise at Slapton Sands. They undoubtedly contributed to a reduction of casualties on D-Day, which took place just 1 month later. While the tragic events of Exercise Tiger weren't covered up, it wasn't until the 1980s that a memorial was erected at Slapton Sands. Due to the dedication of a local resident, a Sherman tank sunk during the exercise was raised and placed at Torcross as a memorial to the US personnel who died during Exercise Tiger. In April 2020, the wrecks of the 2 LSTs that were sunk by the E-boats were protected by the Department for Digital, Culture and Media and Sports on the advice of Historic England. This means that divers can dive the wrecks, but the wrecks themselves and their contents are protected.